My name is Clarence Napier, the multi-state insurance broker. And if you look to the left, if you're watching the Spotify version, you'll see the states where I am licensed. It's about 14 of them with I think six or eight that are pending. And I'm also the CEO of Strategic Consulting Experts LLC based in Georgia. Today is June 8th, 2026. And the title of this podcast episode is about this article that I found. It was a Chase website, and I believe Chase is now has a consulting arm called Morgan Health. And if you're looking at the Spotify version, you'll see this title from June 2026, an article titled "Small Businesses Are Ready for Better Health Insurance Options, Tools." And I'm doing this podcast episode because recently in 2026, our insurance brokerage has begun working with small business owners to help them improve their health insurance experience for their employees, but additionally, to help them improve their revenue, their sales. When I was in corporate America as an executive, a sales executive in Los Angeles, I saw a lot of companies struggling with the healthcare premiums increasing. But because I was an employee, I could not talk about or render any assistance. I couldn't even bring it up. I couldn't bring up their sales. Now, I had inside information based on the competitors in their marketplace that maybe sales were not growing as fast as they should to keep up with the healthcare costs. So I really couldn't, talk about that. But now, as an independent insurance broker and a CEO of a consulting firm, I have great leeway and a whole bunch of passion and about talking to small business owners specifically on increasing their sales. So let's begin with this article. So New Morgan Health survey reinforces need for greater affordability and simplicity. Now I will attach this PDF document to the podcast description. But the small print beneath the dark blue horizontal says small to medium-sized businesses employ approximately half the United States workforce, while small businesses contribute significantly to job creation and economic development. So there's a bunch of findings in this article, about maybe 4 or 5. The first one says, finding 1, smaller businesses are disproportionately affected by healthcare costs. And that's a fact. A company that has 50 employees, 100 employees, 300 employees have higher rates than a company that has 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 employees. So that's a fact. The next one, finding 2, most small to medium-sized businesses prioritize preserving benefits even at the expense of their business. So what that typically means, a company will say, we'll pay more, even though paying more for healthcare costs or healthcare expenses cuts into their profit. And maybe the company does not do as well as it could because a larger portion of their budget is going toward healthcare costs. I'm not saying that's wrong. That's actually smart to keep the people who contribute to the success of the company, employed and with great benefits. But it is an issue over time when it comes to businesses not having the capital to expand. Of course, they could always borrow it, but wouldn't it be better to have it based on increasing revenue? Finding number 3, a wide variety of small to medium-sized businesses are interested in new or alternative coverage options, but need clearer options and more support in selecting alternative coverage. Now, I totally agree with this, and that's why I'm offering supplemental benefits to employees or to employers so that they can perhaps, you know, have a higher deductible, but not put the employees at risk if they get hurt, sick, and they need to pay for these deductibles and out-of-pocket expenses. So I totally agree with that. And I, as a broker, especially with the consulting arm that I have now, we are poised to deliver significant support to help these small to medium-sized businesses have alternative coverage options, but not at the expense of looking cheap to the employees, where the employees say, well, I guess I better find another job because my employer just offered a health plan that has a higher deductible. The next one, finding number 4, many small to medium-sized businesses struggle with unclear health insurance information, driving interest in digital and AI tools. Now, my opinion on that is that I don't think that the digital and AI is proven that much, in my opinion. Yes, you probably can cut staff, but my experience with AI has been not that remarkable. I would just say it like that. And so it's just, I mean, when they're talking about AI, I think they're talking about healthcare AI, but it's just, I haven't seen any solid results because, you know, AI only gets its information from stuff that's already out there in the universe. So I'm just not a fan of AI tools, but I do believe there are options to help employers in this real world. Finding number 5, small to medium-sized businesses still rely heavily on brokers, but pricing and financial incentives complicate decisions. So what they're talking about here is really how much are brokers making on selling healthcare to employers. And I can honestly tell you, it's not that much. It's in some cases, it's like $20, $30, or $40 per employee. And, you know, if you got 50 employees, that's roughly between $1,000 and $2,000 per month, somewhere in there, for the broker to manage the health plan throughout the year. That's $1,000 to $2,000 a month per se. Lots of variation in these financial incentives. And so for companies to say, well, I want to, you know, do something different and not use an insurance broker, I don't think that's wise, because there's a lot of different parameters when it comes to selecting a healthcare plan, and more importantly, selecting benefits. So the key takeaways that's in the blue, it's at the bottom, it says, among the US, rising healthcare costs force small to medium-sized businesses to make difficult trade-offs. I don't think there needs to be a trade-off that's difficult. With limited resources and constrained budgets, many of them are doing all they can to avoid cutting benefits or shifting costs to employees. And that's the reason why I wanted to bring up the strategic consulting experts arm to help small business owners increase revenue. And in short, there's really 5 components of sales. The first one is contacting. Then the next one is prospecting, setting appointments. Number 4 is closing. And the last one is getting zero cost referrals. And I already know, as a corporate executive who went to a training, back in the early 2000s, that training is $30,000 if you had to pay for it. If every employer had to pay for their sales staff, their account reps, to learn how to sell better, to improve revenue, to close more deals, it would cost today's dollars between $30,000 and $35,000 per employee with a learning curve of 6 to 9 months. It's almost impossible for a small business owner or even a business owner with 100 employees to put that in their budgets. So strategic consulting experts, we have a way to train in employees on the 5 front-end sales activities: contacting, prospecting, appointment setting, closing, and getting zero-cost referrals for a fraction of that $30,000 to $35,000. And with the training to help sales reps, account reps do better, to meet or beat the healthcare premium increases, that's a plus. So if anyone needs to call me and talk about it, set up like a 20-minute, no obligation appointment. We can do it face to face, or if you're in the Atlanta, Florida, South Carolina, Alabama area, I can come out and meet with you. If it looks like we're going to, actually start a sales system training, my telephone number is 404-436-2700. Thanks for listening, and make it a great day.